More than just an actor.
Most recent release at theatres, Dhak Dhak.
Acknowledgement of your instinct almost, because a film like Dhak Dhak is something that's made with a lot of raw passion and instinct, because it doesn't have any of like the commercial tropes of mainstream Hindi cinema.
Wanting to bring about a change in society via her skills.
Decided to give voice to many special causes, and this was something you were obviously passionate about before you became an actor as well.
Art and social work are both the two ways in which I feel the most content in driving impact, and just recently that's taken a new shape and form when I got appointed by the UNDP as their youth champion.
NewsX India A-List proudly recognizes Sanjana Sanghi for excellence in acting.
Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview on NewsX. We are being joined today by actor Sanjana Sanghi. Sanjana, thank you so much for taking time out and joining us today.
Thank you so much, Uday. Thank you for having me.
Well, let me begin, Sanjana, by talking to you about your most recent release at theatres, Dhak Dhak. You have got some very good reviews for the film. Overall, critics have appreciated the movie and the performances of all of the actors in it. How do you respond to the reception?
I think it's, my response honestly is just, it feels like acknowledgement of your instinct almost, because a film like Dhak Dhak is something that's made with a lot of raw passion and instinct, because it doesn't have any of like the commercial tropes of mainstream Hindi cinema. So from the time that Taapsee had offered it to me, it never felt like the safer yes. And many people kind of told me that, why don't you go with what's more predictably going to be successful? But now it feels like you just kind of get the kind of confirmation on your gut instinct. But the fact that people are loving it is something that is always the gamble that you take as an actor, which I'm glad has paid off.
Right. It's also in a way quite interesting, as the film has 4 heroines as the lead. There's no male lead. You're all also from different ethnicities, different religious backgrounds, different ages. So do you believe it's quite path-breaking in a way, the film?
I mean, I hope it has. I still feel like, I'm speaking to you about 4 or 5 days after the film is released, and Dhak Dhak, much like the journey that it was as making the film, it is a journey film, but the journey of the film has just started as well. I feel like its relationship with the audience has just begun. We've already gotten an extended run at the theatres. It was a very limited release. It was almost a token theatrical release, but we're now going on to the next weekend. The number of cities have increased. So I'm just hoping that it reaches a lot more people, and then we'll be able to see whether it's been path-breaking or not. But I think on an intention level, Tarun, our director and writer, has done an incredible job of trying to ensure that it's as representative as possible, because all 4 of us are playing different age groups. Like you said, we're from different ethnic backgrounds as well, and bringing that diversity is a challenge. So I hope we've been able to do that justice and do that well.
Now, of course, in the movie, Sanjana, we can see, you have veteran actor Ratna Pathak Shah there. You also have Diya Mirza, who has done a lot of great work in the industry. You're also sharing screen space with Fatima Sana Sheikh, who's of course more your age. So how was it like being on sets with all of them? What was the vibe like?
It was like an eclectic blast, honestly, because I've never had this experience of being in an ensemble before. And what happens on an ensemble is that you have more time on set sometimes to hang out, because the narrative pressure is split across 4 people. So I remember having some of the most memorable conversations of my life over a cup of chai with, I call Ratna Pathak Shah Rats, so I'm just gonna go with that right now, with Rats in our hotel balcony. Conversations that will always stay with me. And Dia and I have the great fortune of doing a lot of work with the UN together, so she's always been an inspiration. And now the fact that we've had this huge chunk to share just means so much. And then there was always a Tapsi who we knew had our eyes on us, who had our back. And it was just a liberating, beautiful environment to be in as a young actor, honestly.
Okay, I also have to ask you now about bike riding, because we can see in the movie, of course, you're riding a bike with Ilan, all four of you actually, as you go from Delhi to Khardungla. But just talking now about you in real life, are you a bike rider? Did you know how to ride a bike before the movie?
Absolutely not. Growing up in Delhi, there was no way my dad would have allowed me to get onto an Enfield and ride around. But much like the many gifts of acting, I think biking has been one such gift. The precondition for signing a film like Dhak Dhak was that we'd have to ride on our own. So when the film was offered to me, training and then becoming adept at it was a precondition. And I love a good challenge. I love being thrown into the deep end and then you either sink or swim. So I feel like biking was one of those things, and it's just been something that we've always associated with a man. I don't know why, but that image of a man riding a bike is so normal, but a woman riding a bike is still something that's relatively uncommon. So getting to do it and then do it in the Himalayas was one of those things that truly felt like nothing is impossible, because if you'd have asked a 15-year-old Sanjana that can you ride an Enfield which is 250 kilos while also acting, I'd have probably laughed at you, but it's kind of happened, which is great.
Okay, so not quite a bike rider in real life before the film, but what about travel? Obviously, you're all fond of traveling in the movie. What about Sanjana in real life? How fond are you of travel?
It absolutely is, and I think as I'm growing up, it's becoming more and more of a love, because I grew up in a middle class family in Delhi where we've really scanned across India, but I hadn't seen a lot of the world, and now that's become like my passion. Whenever I get time off from work, food determines where I want to go next, and then I follow that dish and then reach that country. So it is a passion for sure.
Now, Sanjana, you've also, of course, as we see, decided to give voice to many, many special causes. And this was something you were obviously passionate about before you became an actor as well. The fact that obviously you lent your voice to causes, you supported genuine issues, that's something you've continued to do. In fact, I think on this visit of yours to Delhi as well, you were espousing a very important cause. So how have you balanced, your acting career with also, taking up and speaking up for different causes?
I think, Uday, it's been that, that part of me honestly is as big as the actor in me, in terms of what makes me feel like springing up from bed every morning. And I've been thinking a lot about what my goal really is in life at a larger level, and I think the goal is to drive impact. And art and social work are both the two ways in which I feel the most content in driving impact. And just recently, that's taken a new shape and form when I got appointed by the UNDP as their youth champion. I think that for me was a real coming full circle, because the 10 years that I've put into the field of social work kind of, it's like a seal and stamp. And now with this position, I'm getting to do a lot more and drive a lot more impact. And it feels really fulfilling.
Okay, so, this is of course a very different film. You've done action in the past. There's also a movie, with Pankaj Tripathi reportedly, which is a father-daughter relationship. So clearly diverse genres that you're taking up, Sanjana. What determines your choice of films? What goes into your mind when you decide to say either yes or no to a project?
I think it's something that I've been trying to understand for myself, because I'm still so nascent in my career in a way, and I'm realizing that more and more it's just instinctive. The fact that no genre has been the same hasn't been a calculated decision. I think there's an instinct in me that says don't repeat yourself, and so I tend to say no to the things where I feel like I've already had this experience before. And the toughest thing that all the senior actors I've worked with, and I've had the good fortune of working with a few, is that holding on to your instinct is the hardest thing as you go along. So I'm trying to fiercely protect that, and I hope that I can always keep that open channel between the character and me open, where if something speaks to me, I'm able to just jump at it and say yes.
Okay, well, we hope that that instinct in you stays alive and you continue to do more great work in the days and years ahead as well. For the time being, thank you so much, Sanjana Sanghi, for joining us today on NewsX.
Thank you so much, Uday.